Hey y'all, it is Tasha. I am back with another video this week. We're back, Married at First Sight. I mean, we are completely back up in that thing, okay? So we're going to review the episode that just recently aired. We're on season 13, episode 2. So I'm going to give a disclaimer ahead of time. Please excuse my voice. Allergies are kicking my butt right now. Have some water, but hopefully I don't sound too mannish or my voice just doesn't go completely out on me, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into the video this week. So before I even saw the episode, I saw on the Married at First Sight page on Facebook that we were getting ready for 2 more weddings this week. And I was like, why though? Why are we only getting 2 weddings when the show is 2 hours? Like, why couldn't we have just knocked out the rest of these 4 weddings and then do reception, for all of them next episode, and then we on honeymoon episode 4? I'm not understanding, and I don't even know if Married at First Sight listens to the fans of the show, if they really care, because you're going to sit through it or fast forward through it anyway. But it would really help if we felt like y'all cared a little bit, that we don't want to sit through repeated information being shared, and we don't want to sit through 2 hours with maybe an hour of it being significant information, It's real annoying, but I digress. And I'm going to move on to review the episode this week. So this week we see that Michaela and Zack are next up to get married. So we see them waking up. Michaela's sisters come in and start shaking her and jumping out on the bed. I absolutely love this scene. Like, it just made me smile. I didn't realize I was smiling. I was like, oh, this is just so sweet. But just to see a Black woman surrounded by, so much love and her sisters and the support, it was just, I loved everything about it, okay? And then on the other side, we see Zack getting the same wake-up call from his brothers. I'm assuming, I know one was his brother. I'm not sure if the other guy was his other brother or one of his friends. But anyway, the whole situation was just super cute. So Michaela's sisters, as she's getting her makeup and stuff done, one of her sisters starts in on her stubbornness. And she tells us that they have a nickname for Michaela, which is Hurricane K. And it seems from Michaela that when Hurricane K comes through, she don't care what's going on. She basically gonna come in and tear up the situation. And then once she has time to think about it, she's gonna apologize. Now, Michaela, I can be one sometimes that, quick to snap. But as I get older, I'm learning to really think about things kind of before I say it and try to think about the implications of it before I say it. So, Michaela, what I'm going to need you to do, especially in your marriage, is to really think that through, because it's really not going to work for you to turn into Hurricane K and go off on your husband, Zack, and then you turn around the next day or later on and apologize. That may be warranted for certain situations you may encounter, very limited situations. But as far as a regular occurrence, that should not be, honey. We don't want to get into this toxic revolving door of, I act an ass and then I apologize and, you're supposed to forgive me and everything's going to be all good, because that's going to get old real fast, honey. So please figure out what your triggers are, how you react, and let's find a better reaction. All right. So we see that Zack, as he's, in the limo heading to the hotel, he gets to the hotel. He's getting really emotional. Like, his friends are having to console him. He is like having full-on tears coming down. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a real moment. And again, this is a moment I love to see, especially because you don't see a ton of emotion like that, especially coming from Black men. I mean, men, period, don't, like to necessarily cry, because that shows some sort of weakness, which that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. But he's really going through it, and his friends are really helping to console him as he, maneuvers through this. But he's just really emotional about getting married to this woman that he just does not know. I'm assuming part of it is probably nervousness, and part of it is just something that he's wanted for so long. It's here. The day is actually here. So Michaela gets some gifts from her sisters, and one was a really small blue model of the Star Trek spaceship, and she immediately starts crying because her dad was a Trekkie, and if you remember, her dad was killed by a drunk driver. So this being, a little model of the Star Trek ship, and it being blue was her, something blue. But it was so cute for her to have that moment, and I wish I could reach out and hug her in this moment to console her a little bit. So we see Zack about to walk down the aisle, and he gets some encouragement from his mom before he walks down, which is so touching, as she's wiping away his tears and really telling him, you know, he can do this and I love you and all that stuff. I just love them two already as a couple. I really hope they don't let us down. I know it's going to be some times where it's not going to be so sunshine, cupcakes, and rainbows, but I really hope they can work through it, because they really do seem like two genuine people. They're both two gorgeous people, and I just really love their spirit and their personality that they're bringing so far. So I really hope y'all make it through. Like, you are my favorite at the moment in time. So Zack, we can see he's super nervous. He's sweating. And then the minute he sees Michaela, his beautiful bride, walking down the aisle, he gets the biggest smile on his face, which I love to see. And she's actually being walked down the aisle by her brother-in-law, which I was like, oh, that's super sweet. They must have a great relationship. So that was really nice to see. But they are both gorgeous as they get to the end of the aisle. Neither one of them can just stop looking at each other. So I'm like, what's popping tonight, Zack and Michaela? Huh? But as they kind of go through their vows, Michaela, well, not their vows yet, as they're going through kind of the stories that their family and friends say about them, they're saying really nice things about each other. Their family has said nice things about the other person. Michaela really gets the giggles, and I'm not sure if this what happens when she gets nervous, but it really helps to kind of soften things up and break the ice a little bit. Then they say their vows that they've written for each other. And honestly, if I didn't know any better, this looked like a full-on relationship that they courted, got engaged, and now they get married. Like, coming into this, if I didn't know, they did not look like they were meeting each other for the first time, that they were strangers getting married. But his dad starts to cry as they see her mom is just super excited. So again, I have high hopes for them, because they seem to be in this for the right reasons. They have great support from their family and friends. So just with the support system that they have, hopefully that really encourages them to really push through, work through whatever issues that they have, communicate very well, and just make this, you know, one of the successful marriages of Married at First Sight. But the way they giving each other these googly eyes, honey, this marriage is being consummated tonight, okay? Anyway, we switch back to Bao and Johnny, who is now about to go through their traditional tea ceremony, which is customary in their Japanese culture. It's funny that they both had wanted this piece of the ceremony before they even met each other, so they already had their red and gold outfits that happened to match each other. And I thought that was so cute that, you know, they were matching and everything, and they didn't even plan this part of the ceremony together. But I've never been to a Japanese wedding, so I don't know what a tea ceremony is, but it seems like from what I could gather that the groom's family gave the bride's family, exchanged gifts and gave them gifts, shall I say, not necessarily exchange. And then the bride and the groom served tea to their parents in their ceremony. So I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it, but that is what they showed on TV for us. And again, I enjoyed seeing it, and I think this is a big deal to have a different culture's wedding being shown on this scale when it comes to national TV. So when we get back over to Zack and Michaela, they've been reunited with their friends and family, and they're ready to take pictures and catch up. And I always kind of love this part, because it's like they have the wedding, the couples have a little bit of time together, and then they're being pulled apart again to see their family and friends again for the first time since saying I do at the altar. So it's always like, come here, girl, give me the tea, because I want to know, do you like him? Do he look good? What kind of person is he? Like, they just want to know everything on both sides. So I absolutely love how that looks. But they take their pictures. They look so comfortable with each other. It is so cute. She's like, you know, trying to get a feel, and he's like, I ain't mad at it. And I'm like, I love it. Okay. I almost wanted the whole episode to be about them. Like, can we just skip all the other couples and just talk about Zack and Michaela? I'd be cool with it. Anyway, they do their reception, and then they do their first dance. But as a random note in my notes, I really wish Lifetime would just cough up the coins so that we can hear the music that's actually being played instead of this elevator music that we have to listen to every single time. Like, y'all got the coins, because each commercial break is about 5 minutes worth of ads. So I know y'all are getting the money. Please fork over a little bit extra and get permission to use the music on the show. At least sometimes. God, they're asking too much. Um, anyway, at Johnny and Bao's reception, we see them change back into their traditional wedding attire, so the wedding gown and his suit, and they have their first dance, and it is just super sweet. They're being so gentle with each other. So I'm looking at them and they kind of look all stiff dancing, where I'm like, it's nice you're being gentle, but loosen up just a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, I just want to shake each of them so you can get loose and then go back to dance. But they both look super happy talking to each other, and then they are talking about kids already as they're doing their first dance, and they both want kids. So hopefully this is a match made in heaven, you know. So next up, as far as flipping back to the other couples who haven't been married yet, we see Myrla and Gil go shopping for, well, Myrla and Gil go shopping for their wedding attire. Gil wants to go the traditional route, but he wants a little jazz. And Myrla, we see her shopping, she basically doesn't like anything. Like, she is getting on my nerves already. I am really trying hard not to pass too much judgment very early on, because it's so hard to come back from that. Once you kind of get a bad taste in your mouth about someone, it's really hard to try to reverse that and look at them in a different light, i.e. Chris from last season. Granted, he needed it, but he kind of immediately started off on the wrong foot at the reception, and it was really no comeback from that. And I really don't want to have that with Myrla, but she's trying my patience already. So just between her attitude at the dress place and between her attitude at the bachelorette party, she's just wearing a little bit thin on my patience. Like, she just, I don't like that. I don't like that. No sparklies. I can't do it. No, no, no. And I am just not feeling it at all. And I'm kind of getting the sense, I hope I'm wrong, I'm just kind of getting the sense that because she's pretty, she feel like she can have whatever attitude she want, and people are just gonna put up with it because she's a pretty face. And she's trying to let her looks, or she thinks that her looks will give her a pass on whatever it is that she's doing, her behavior, attitude, whatever it is. And I'm not feeling it at all. So I'm gonna need her to do a 180 and we're gonna be successful in this season, because right now, no. But anyway, she tries on about 5 dresses, and while the dress she chose looked great on her, wouldn't have been my choice, but that's neither here nor there. Gil does talk that he does not want his wife to be materialistic, and that may be a problem because he actually does not place value on those things. And I'm like, oh boy, this couple, this might have been the Paige and Chris of this season. Of hopefully it's not that bad, but it may just be for entertainment purposes. Of this man does not place that value on this stuff. You give him a high maintenance girl. She does not want somebody with a bald head. You give her a bald headed man. Like, these two. Brent and Ryan then go shopping for their dresses and tux respectively. The dress she goes with, it looks very similar to Michaela's dress, except for it does not have the sleeves. And then as Ryan is talking and picking out his tux, he talks about how he so badly wants to be a dad. And he kind of recaps his 20s and how he kind of, the thought process that he had of, he said that, you know, when he was 28, if he didn't have, by the time he turned 28, if he wasn't married, then he was going to adopt. And then once he turned 28, he was like, okay, well, 30. If I don't have any kids by the time I'm 30, I'm going to adopt. 30 came. And then he was like, all right, we're going to say 32. 32 came. He didn't adopt. So now that he's 35, he's like, I feel like just like women, his biological clock is ticking. And he's like, pump the brakes. I need a wife because I want these kids. I want to be on the soccer team. I want to be the soccer dad. I want to do everything, have all the stuff. And he is realizing that he may be running out of time, which I don't think he is, but that's the feeling that I get from him. So I really hope that Brent wants to have kids. I can't remember if they discussed what her stance is on children and where she is with that, but he is probably ready to impregnate her on the honeymoon if she will allow it. Yeah. But what I am starting to gather a little bit, and again, I hope I'm wrong because I'm going off very little information, but it's just the vibe that I'm getting. It seems like Ryan is a bit of a pushover, like he's just gonna oblige to whatever it is that his wife or his spouse wants, and as long as they're happy, then that's gonna be good enough for him. And I don't want him to sacrifice his own happiness just in the process of making someone else happy, or just in the process of this is a means to an end for me to have children. Because Brent really doesn't seem like the type of woman that she wants that type of man. Like, she seems like she wants a man that is going to be firm in his stance, because she is very confident in who she is and what she can do. And I feel like she wants somebody to match her same energy, because she wouldn't want to feel like the man in their relationship. And I don't know if Ryan is giving off that type of energy. Okay, but we'll see. So lastly, Rachel and Jose go pick out their wedding attire. And honestly, I be forgetting about them, y'all. They are just not that memorable yet to me. Like, when they came up, I was like, oh yeah, totally forgot we had them as a couple. Like, I don't think about them when I think about the couples just yet. So I hope things pick up, but for right now, they are boring me. But she keeps talking about wanting to get married, to have someone to do stuff with. I want to travel. I want to go to sporting events. You know, I've worked on this body, yada, yada, and I want to show it off and all this stuff. And I'm like, so Rachel, I just want to make sure you're getting married for the spouse and the life that comes with that, and not just for, you know, basically to have a BFF. Because that's what it sounds like you want. It sounds like you want a BFF and not a husband. You just want somebody that, you know, hang out with you, travel with you, but you really didn't talk about somebody to love, grow old with. You know, shit like that happens when you get married. Okay. Jose is worried that they won't be attracted to her, or they just don't get along, and we'll see what happens. Again, sorry y'all, they bore me right now, and I just keep forgetting that they're actually a couple on TV. So maybe next week when they get married, we'll have better success. So we see that it is wedding day for the remaining couples. So I don't know if it is actually completely next day, or if it's just the editing to make it seem like it was the next day, but they have truly all gotten married on the exact same day. But the next wedding that's up is Myrla and Gil. So Myrla says best case scenario is that he's tall, dark, and handsome. And basically worst case scenario is that he's ugly. Noted. Most of Gil's family, he tells us, is in Colombia, so he is surrounded by mostly of his friends. Myrla is getting her makeup done, and again, y'all, she starts to work my nerves. She starts to complain about everything. Now, I don't wear makeup, so I really don't want a lot of makeup. Please don't use foundation on me. She looked up at her bridesmaids, was like, please don't make my eyebrows like theirs, and I was like, ooh, the shade. Okay, Myrla. But she is complaining the whole time about getting her makeup done. And I'm like, you're not making your case any better right now. You just making it more annoying for us, the viewers, to like you. Like, we struggling already, and you just keep digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And I am just completely over it. And again, she, in the same scene, she talks about how she doesn't want somebody with a bald head, because one of her bridesmaids actually asked her, so what if he has a bald head? And she's like, oh, that's going to be such a distraction, and I don't want that. And again, I'm like, experts, why did y'all do this? Because I'm not mad about her having a stance on it, because she told y'all, but y'all decided to do what y'all want to do. So that's y'all fault. That's the expert's fault. They talk about the first kiss, and on Gil's side of things, when his friends ask him, he's like, hell yeah, I'm going in for the kiss. That's my wife. And on Myrla's side, she's like, hell no, not today. It ain't happening. So they're just completely different pages. And that's why I'm just like, oh my God, this couple, I just don't know. And then even on her end, she talks about, you know, I'm not kissing him on the lips. He's a stranger. And I'm like, is she gonna be it's the stranger person for this season? Because there's always one of, this is a stranger, this is a stranger, this is a stranger, oh my God, this is a stranger. It's what you sign up for, sis. We already know this. We don't need to keep hearing it the whole season. It's what you signed up for. Okay? Anyway, Gil's friends provide him with some solid advice before he walks down the aisle. And once he gets down there, her mom does not look impressed. Like, she doesn't laugh, she doesn't smile, she doesn't nod her head, she doesn't do anything. And I'm like, uh-oh, what is going on? But her brother prepares to walk her down the aisle, and she continues to talk about how picky she is. And again, I'm like, Myrla, I just cannot say her name right. Myrla, if you are this picky, you should have not come on this show. If you know you're going to nitpick everything about this man that you know nothing about, you should not have done this show. Am I the only one that feels like this? Like, girl. Girl. Okay. Anyways, she gets ready to walk down the aisle. The minute she turns the corner to get ready to walk down at the beginning of the aisle, she says, "Oh my God, he's bald." And I'm like, well, we saw that coming anyways. But once she get down there, she says she's kind of open to it with him having a bald head. And again, I'm like, well, sis, you really have no choice at this point unless you just, turn around and walk out of here. That's really the only options that you have at this point. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But he feeds her compliments as she gets to the end of the aisle. He's like, "Oh my God, you're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're dressed. Oh my God." And she's just like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And she doesn't even tell this man, "You look handsome." Like, girl, give this man a compliment, okay? And then as they're going through what their family and friends had to say about each other, her family friends kind of threw her under the bus with their comments, talking about, she may show up to a clothing drive in designer clothes and that her favorite pastime is shopping. And basically, she's high maintenance, which is not what Gil wants. So as he's reading his vows, she doesn't really look like she is into him. So at this moment, I'm like, I wonder what she's going to say in her confessional, because she don't really look like she feeling him. I don't get it. But of course, when it comes time to kiss, we already knew she said she did not want to kiss. So Gil was kind of looking at her like, I don't know what to do, because she didn't really lean in to give him the impression that she wanted to kiss. Then once he did lean in, she turned her cheek so he give her a kiss on the cheek. Whatever. They look cute together and all, but I don't know about their personalities connecting. I just don't know. But Gil is excited to be married. He thinks she's gorgeous. Myrla does say she thinks that he is handsome. Says, "I was only distracted by his bald head just for a minute. And then I looked at his beautiful smile and I was like, okay, girl, if you say so." But they do at this time show a flashback of Gil speaking to her mother in Spanish, because as they're talking right now, they realize that they both speak Spanish fluently, and that both of their mothers are Spanish speaking only. So when they flash back, they actually see him speaking to her mother and he's speaking in Spanish, and that kind of gives her comfort, and she is communicating back and forth. So I'm assuming kind of when we saw it in the beginning with him walking down the aisle, it was more of the uncomfortableness of the language barrier and her not being sure. That's why she looked like that. But that's really cool that both of them are able to speak Spanish so that they can communicate with each other's moms as they get to know each other. But she also shares a little bit more about her profession, which was very interesting to me. But she shares that she was once a principal, and I'm like, I never would have guessed that she was a freaking principal. But now in her leadership role, basically she coaches and consults principals and district school leaders. I don't know. I've never heard of that position, which I'm not in the school realm either. So maybe that's something that's the norm. But I don't know if she is an entrepreneur or if it's some sort of consulting firm that does this all the time. I don't know. But I was like, that job seems interesting. And then, of course, he tells her that he's a firefighter and she doesn't look interested. She's probably in her head doing the calculations already of, he don't make enough money for me. Let's be honest. Anyway, as they're going through the vows earlier, he mentioned that he had a dog, and he did ask her if she liked dogs, and she basically was like, I can tolerate dogs, but her face was like, I'm not a fan of dogs. But she says that, as long as they don't shed. And guess what, y'all? Gil dog sheds. Y'all, did the experts ask about this? They not only paired her with a man that is bald-headed that she did not want, they paired her with a man that has a shedding dog, which she just seems to not want either. Oh gosh, I don't know. I hope they did not ignore these things, because again, this is setting them up for failure. When we don't need any help with couples that are just getting to know each other at the altar. We want to set them up for success, but right now it seems like Myrla and Gil is being set up for the okie doke. Okay. So it looks like for next week, Britt and Ryan is the wedding that we're going to see, as we do see her wake up and start getting her, makeup and stuff done with her bridesmaids, and then Ryan chatting it up with the guys. But baby, I have to say, once Britt gets everything together with the dress, the makeup, the hair, it was everything. She was so beautiful. I really love that's blingy piece, that brooch that she had in her hair with her red hair. Like, it was so pretty. I absolutely loved her entire look. put together. Her bridesmaids, they come and they bring in some flowers, and of course we're like, oh, you know, Ryan sent in some flowers for Brett. And then we see that the note says, this is for my mother-in-law, my future mother-in-law. And it's like, that is just so sweet. And she starts to cry because she, you know, she feel like he's gentle and he's caring because, you know, he doesn't even know her or her mom, and he sent flowers to his future mother-in-law. And then we see that she has a gift as well with a little card, and it's sitting on top of a box, and the card says it's your last chance. And when she opens up the box, it's a pair of sneakers. So basically it's her last chance to run, is what the message that Ryan was sending. So I was like, oh, this is super cute. So maybe Ryan has a bit of a personality. We just gotta work it out of him a little bit. That's what it seems like, I guess. But I was like, that was a cute gift, because, you know, just the messaging behind it. And then when her feet start hurting, she gonna be happy she got these sneakers to put on at the reception. But that was so cute and clever. So I can't wait to see what else Ryan may be having in store for us. But basically, he's sweating bullets, the door's getting ready to open, and episode goes off. Y'all know how Married at First Sight do. Y'all know how they do. But anyway, it looks like next week it is getting juicy. Gil's friends, you know, start grilling Myrla about her high maintenance. We see that Johnny is, you know, on his knees biting the garter off Bao. We see Zack giving Michaela a lap dance. I'm like, I feel like we might enjoy this season. Last season was trash, but hopefully this season is looking a little bit more promising with the couples that we have. So I want to know from y'all, who is your favorite couple? Did Myrla get on your nerves as much as she got on my nerves this episode? If she did, let me know what your thoughts are. If you think it's, you know, just how she is, if it's the nervousness, if she's insecure, if she just doesn't have friends that are honest with, I don't know what it is, but she got on my nerves. So let me know how y'all feel about this episode. Hopefully we'll get the rest of the winners next week, and then let's start maybe doing some ratings of how we feel, if they're gonna stay together or they're gonna separate by the end of this whole season. Okay, let's chat it up in the comments below, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.